Hi, you guys. Welcome back to Janie's Hippie Art. I know it has been a long time since there's been any kind of video, and I'm very sorry for that. But I have a new saying. It's called, life is what happens when you make other plans. So life got in the way of my other plans. So what I'm going to show you tonight, because it's nighttime, I'm going to show you guys making paper beads out of the takeaway. See if I can pull one. The takeaway menus from the Chinese restaurant. Takeaway menus from the Chinese restaurant. I grabbed a few. So, I'm going to show you guys how I cut them. And I'm going to roll some for you. And I'm rolling a couple different sizes. Because that's what I do when I have multiple of paper, when I have plenty, I like to do as many different sizes of the beads as possible, so I have a nice variety of bead sizes for any kind of piece of jewelry I want to do. So let me flip you guys around, and we'll cut up some paper and we'll roll some beads. Okay? Okay, you guys, let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to be rolling like 1 sheet and 3 sheets at a time. But I want to... Okay, so I've got 3 of these takeaway menus. I think I've got coming... Okay, I'm permanently... This is my art room permanently now. Some of y'all don't know this, but I don't even know if... I think I shared something on the channel, but I'm not really sure. But I did have 2 art rooms. I had one in Florida and one up here in Kentucky. But I caught my husband cheating the Saturday after Thanksgiving. And as soon as I could the following weekend, the following Friday, or Friday after that, I headed back to Florida and I divorced him. So, that being said, I have moved up to Kentucky permanently. And the majority of my art supplies, due to the storms that have recently happened, majority of my art supplies are stuck with the movers. So, hopefully they finally come tomorrow. Okay, so I'm working with 2 different size. We'll get off that now. We're working with 2 different size beads. So, this is my favorite paper cutter. I cut it on it backwards because I think you're supposed to measure the paper on that side like this. I think that's the way you're supposed to do it. But that confuses me. So I cut it, I use it backwards. I use the big part towards my body and I cut my paper. And I'm famous for making the fat end of my strips at that 2 on this, which is less than an inch, because here's the 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So it's like 3/4 of an inch is my fattest side. And when I don't do the 2, I do the 1. And that's just under a 1/2 inch wide. So I have already cut a bunch of strips that are the 2. Okay. So I've already cut a bunch of them. And that's what these are. That's what these are. These are the 2. Okay. So it's 3/4 of an inch. So now I'm going to cut at the 1 mark and get a smaller bead. But this is my favorite paper cutter. I have several of them. So that's the difference in the sizes of my beads. See, you can tell the difference. So that's going to be a smaller bead. So let me cut some of this up so we can play tonight. And I don't get, as I've said before in my videos, I don't get caught up on how wide the tip is. Sometimes it's a point, sometimes it's a little bit. I don't care. I don't care. I know some people are going to want their beads to be identical, and that's fine. Do it however you're comfortable. I don't care. I'm going to do just so many strips so we can do the beads. Sometimes I have to shuffle my papers a little bit because I get off a little bit. Because I want to show you guys how I roll multiple sheets. Some people only have one end to glue down. Usually I glue all three. Like if I'm doing 3 strips at one time, I glue all 3 strips down. I don't get caught up on that. There's been times that I have actually cut away the 2 inner layers, but I'm not going to do that today. I prefer to do it where I just glue all the ends down. I think it makes for a more smoother bead, in my opinion. Okay, so I think I got enough strips to play with at the moment. But I would go through and cut up, sometimes I go through and cut up a lot of my strips first and then start rolling. Let me set this aside. Now, roll on whatever size roller you have. Roll on a toothpick. Roll on a coffee stirrer, coffee stirrer. Roll on a bamboo skewer. You know those ones you can buy from the Dollar Tree or the grocery store. They're the bamboo wooden, like giant, huge. Roll on a chopstick. You know, when you go to the Chinese restaurant, get a chopstick. It'll make for a big hole, but that don't matter. Roll on whatever you got. Roll on a bobby pin. You know, roll on whatever you got. I just happen to have rolling tools. Okay, so here is one of my ones that is the 3/4 of an inch wide. So I'm going to roll that one for y'all. And I don't glue the whole strip down. You can if you want to. You can glue your whole strip if you want. I only glue the tip. Put a little dot of glue on the strip, and I only glue like a half of a inch worth of tip, and then I just take it off. If you wanted to lay your strip down with a glue stick, and glue the whole thing with like a glue stick, you could do that if you wanted to. I don't use glue stick. I've hardly ever used glue stick. I use basically school glue. And just because this says Elmer's glue, this is not Elmer's glue. I buy these at the Dollar Tree. They come in a 2-pack. And the tops unscrew. The tops, they do unscrew. They do. I swear they do. The tops unscrew. I usually let it sit up overnight with the point up. And then all the glue drains down to the bottom. And then you just squeeze this and I just refill it with any school glue. In fact, my favorite school glue is actually the Crazy Art school glue that you get at Walmart. So back to school. So glue however you want to glue. Use any kind of glue. Use Aleene's, use school glue, use clear school glue, use glue stick. I don't recommend using hot glue. I don't recommend that. I think it would peel off or something or crack or get brittle later. That's the one glue I don't recommend. But if you find it works for you, use whatever you want. I just like plain old school glue. You know, use glitter glue if you want to use glitter glue and put glitter glue all the way around. Again, I just put a little tiny dot. I use very little glue, believe it or not. And I've not had any trouble. I've been doing my beads this way for years now, probably 10 years. And I've not had any trouble with them. Okay, so that's the 1/2 inch ones. I mean, the 3/4 inch one, okay? So now let's go to the one that is, and I do not know if I have a ruler handy. Do I have a ruler handy? Yes, I do. I think I have a ruler. Nope. Yes, I do. I have a ruler. Yes, I have a ruler. If I can get it on my desk. Okay. Did I just mess that up? I got 2 stacks here because one of these stacks is 3 pieces of paper cut, and I'm going to roll 3 pieces together. Okay, the skinnier paper is actually just under a half inch. Just under a half inch. So it's just about a half inch wide at the fat end. Like I said, this I don't care about. I don't care about this one, this end. I just don't. I don't find it makes a difference either way, personally. Remember, when you roll a bead, don't roll too tight. You want to be able to manipulate the bead if you're finding that one end looks better than the other one. Because you can manipulate your bead until you glue it. You can push it around, manipulate it, unroll it a little bit, re-roll it a little bit. And if you wind really tight, you can't do that. Again, I'm just going to glue the under just a little bit. And then I've got another little bead. See, I got another little bead. Now I keep on hand. I get those cheap washcloths and I keep them on hand to keep my glue nozzle clean. Because if my glue nozzle, the point gets nasty, I find it more a mess to deal with. But I'm just going to keep rolling my beads. I've kind of missed doing a lot of artwork over the last couple months. I've kind of really missed it. I got up to Kentucky roughly. My divorce was finalized on the 26th in Florida of January. And in Florida, I had to be there. I had to go to court. So, even though I could have done it on the internet virtual, I had to be there. So I came up to Kentucky the Saturday after the 26th. So I've been up here and I've made some beads. I've made quite a few paper beads while I've been back up here. But I really didn't feel like doing videos. The art room was kind of a mess. It still is. We did some rearranging of the art room the last couple days, putting in bigger shelves, taller shelves, so that a lot of my supplies can, because I've got, my art room in Florida was a 2-car garage, a big 2-car garage, freestanding building. And I had to leave a lot of stuff in Florida. I sold some stuff. Here we go. We're gonna just put it on the tip. Doesn't have to be a lot of glue. You want a very thin layer of glue. That's how I do it. If you need more glue than that, do it however suits you. But I was saying my art room in Florida was a 2-car garage, extra large 2-car garage with a lot of stuff. So I packed up as much as I could pack up. I had just a couple months to do it in. See, you have to sometimes re-roll. So I did the best I could by myself. I got no help. So I did the best I could on my own, packing it all up. And still, cohabitated with him in the house while I was packing stuff up. So, it's just some stuff I wish I had gotten, yes, but I can't do nothing about that now. But hopefully tomorrow my stuff gets here from the storage unit, which is a few hours away, the storage facility, because I did I packed a pod, a shipping container. So my stuff will come, and I'll do a before and after of what it looks like right now in the beginning stages of rearranging it, and then what it finally looks like, because hopefully I can still come in here and work. So I'm going to do a few more of these little ones. I'm I'm going to do a lot of these little ones because, like I said, I like having multiple sizes of beads in the same paper. In the past, I've been known to buy, if paper pads on sale, I've been known to buy 2 of something so I get plenty of paper. But my goal now is not to buy anything I don't need. So I will be looking for all kinds of free paper. I have lots of paper, so it's not like I'm going to be not working with regular pad paper, but I'm going to be looking outside the box really big time to make beads. So here are an example of some different sizes. So here's the 1/2 inch ones I just rolled. Here's the 3/4 inch ones. And then over here, they're a little bit fatter. They're 3 sheets at one time. Okay, so these are 3 sheets at one time. So let me show you that. Okay, so I stacked them up when I cut them earlier. I tried to stack them as I cut. I put 3 pieces of paper in my cutter, and as I cut them, I tried to stack them 3 at a time. That way my cuts are identical on all 3 pages, which makes a big difference, because if I just went over to this other pile right over here where they're the same size, they're cut the same way, but the papers did not match up, my cuts might be off just a hair, which would make for it, maybe when I rolled them, maybe they would not roll evenly and nice. Maybe there would be some unevenness, I guess. I don't know the words I'm looking for. But as I was cutting them, I stacked them. So I've got 3 like-sized papers. See, they're all three the same. Roughly. I mean, they could be off a smidge, but it's not going to make that much of a difference. So I just make sure they're nice and, together. Put them in my paper turning tool, bead rolling tool. And then I just slowly, you can pick up speed, but I really pay attention here because I want to make sure this is rolling nicely, that none of the papers are moving on me and getting out of a line, because then it makes for slight ridge or something. Okay, I told you guys I don't cut away. I know some people, I hope you can see this, some people like to cut these 2 inner ones and just have that last one. I only do that occasionally if the paper is really thick, but on this thin of paper, because this is really thin paper, this is like copy paper thin, I'm not going to do that. I've got the 3 pieces. Hope y'all can see it, because I got the 3 different 1, 2, and 3. I try to put glue on all of them, just a little dot of glue on all of them. As I roll them around, the glue will get smeared around, and then I just carefully roll them around, and then it comes out usually a very nice smooth bead. I don't know if y'all can see that. So I could manipulate that bead a little bit, but I'm not going to. I think that's a really pretty bead. Sometimes I can tell when I look at some paper if it's going to make a pretty bead or not. So we'll do that again. Okay. They're falling off. All right, let's see. Let's pull 3 the same. Usually you can tell just by looking at the paper they're 3 the same. That's 3 the same. Stack your, tap your ends. Make sure those are flush. And just roll your bead. It's really, really simple. There really is no wrong way. I'm sure there's a wrong way, but this should be fun. If you're having difficulty rolling your beads and you think your rolls aren't coming out nice, then stop, take a deep breath, and go at it again. They're not, if you're trying, in my opinion, if you're trying to make your beads perfect, you're going to be frustrated with your beads. You're not going to enjoy this. I find making paper beads to be one of the most relaxing things I've ever made. This and paper mache. I think I'm a paper artist. I know I'm a recycle artist, but paper mache and paper beads are my favorite. I make jewelry because I make beads. I don't know if anybody else has ever said that. I think I've heard other people say that, but I make jewelry because I make beads, because I have so many beads. Wait until y'all see how many beads I have. My boxes are heavy coming from Florida because I got lots of beads. Again, I just put it in there. Whatever rolling tool you use. There's no perfect rolling tool. You use what is comfortable in your hand. You know, you can take a bamboo skewer and you can cut the pointed tip off and split that sucker down the center so you have like two halves. Like imagine cutting a hot dog down the long ways. We have a flat side and a round side. Do that with a bamboo skewer. And just so far down, and you've got a divided tool to use. If you get too much glue on your finger, no big deal. The only time I found the amount of school glue that is used makes a difference is when you're working with construction paper. I think that when you get too much school glue on construction paper, if you don't cover the whole thing, when I dip my beads, I find that there's a slight difference in color, but I kind of like that too. Okay, so let's see, we got 3 here. I think this one goes with that. And there should be, yeah, there's 3 pages there. See, 3 more pieces. I like making them bigger. Now, if you use multiples and multiples and multiples of paper, like for instance, if I thought these were pretty much close, really cut the same size, if I was real particular about cutting my same size, I could take several of these and make a saucer bead almost, but I'm not going to do that today. I'll do saucer beads another time. I don't know when, but I'll do them another time. Right now I'm focusing on just trying to make up a bunch of beads again because I think I want to start selling my strands of beads. I think that's one of my goals, is to get a bunch of beads strung up to sell. I just thought that when I saw these, when I was at the Chinese buffet with my son the other day, I thought, oh, those will make pretty beads. And I was right. Like I said, sometimes I can tell. Sometimes you get some paper, you think it's going to make pretty beads, and it doesn't make as pretty bead as you thought it was going to make. So see, now I have 3 different size beads. I have the fat one. I have a hard time holding my hand that way. I have skinnier one, and I have a little one. So I have 3 different size beads out of that. 3 different size beads. So that would be very nice in a necklace, because this could be down in the front on the chest, and then it could taper into this going up around the neck, and then around the neck it could be that. And this in the center of a bracelet with just the little ones beside it, you know, take that out and use 2 or 3 of these in the center of a bracelet, and that would make for a nice bead. Great beads to use with your paper beads are seed beads. They're great. Really any beads, but I like to shop thrift stores for vintage jewelry and come home, clean it up, and use that with some of my beads. Because if you really look hard at some of the vintage jewelry, be careful what you spend on it though, because some places will charge you way too much. But even if it's a broken piece of jewelry, that's the best stuff. I don't particularly like the grab bags at the Goodwills because I think you get a lot of crap in those. But hey, if you're game for it, go for it. But some of the vintage jewelry has some of the best shapes to some of the vintage. But my thing is, really look at it, because I found out recently that some of that vintage jewelry is actually worth some money. So you might not want to cut something up that's really worth something. But you know what? At the same time, it's somebody else's throwout. And if you can make something pretty out of it, go ahead and make something pretty out of it. Okay, I lost track of my grip, and that last sheet got away on me. So it got a little loose. That's okay, I recovered it. But this is basically making paper beads out of something as simple as a takeaway menu. That simple. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you got something out of it, especially newbies to the paper bead world. Just open it. When you see something for free, think about it for a minute. You might be able to use it in your paper beads. Some of the store flyers are good. If you don't mind doing like a newspaper type bead, the store flyers are great for that. Your fingers are going to get black though working with those. I don't make so much newspaper beads as much as I did at the beginning of all this, but it's a good way to get used to rolling beads. But the flyers are the best. Sometimes if the paper has a sheen on it, a shiny sheen, you might have to hold your end down longer. That might be when you might want to use the glue stick. But other than that, you know, all you can do is, if you get a paper and you're not sure, try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, hey, you may have figured out a new paper to use. But just try it, you know. There really is no wrong or right paper to use. I mean, yes, scrapbook paper is the most ideal. It's perfect. But you can't always afford to go out and buy scrapbook paper. You know, paper is expensive in the stores. And at the craft stores and stuff. I mean, yeah, if you're going to buy it from Hobby Lobby, use a coupon. And sometimes Michael's has a sale, but I don't know if they've had any in a long time. I haven't been in a craft store in a long time, trying to avoid those places until I absolutely need something. But yeah, think outside the box on the paper, y'all. Think outside the box. So I hope you enjoyed this. Like and subscribe if you did. And remember, art is created, so go out and create some art. And I will see you guys in the next video. Enjoy rolling beads.